The TikTok bill has been signed into law. It's a really big day for the American people. Some of you may be relieved and excited, and some of you may be pissed off. I'm going to give you all the details and clarify some confusion. Today, President Biden signed a bill into law that is forcing ByteDance, the Chinese-based company who owns TikTok, to sell TikTok to an American company within a year, or they will face a national ban. TikTok truly is a national security risk. I've spoken with experts, people who work in government. The U.S. Foreign Intelligence Agency is literally calling TikTok Chinese spyware. There is legitimate concern that our data is being handed over to the Chinese Communist Party, and then potentially that information is being used against us. In China, there is a policy that their government can request data from any Chinese company and they have to hand it over. ByteDance has repeatedly denied that they've been asked for American data, and they've reportedly made efforts to move the US data to data centers based here in America, but foreign intelligence is negating this claim. So I think we need to understand what data ByteDance has on us. So the phone where you've downloaded the TikTok app, ByteDance is getting all of your browsing history, all of your location, device information, and even keystrokes. There's also concern that it tracks activity not just on the device where TikTok is downloaded, but on other devices that are connected. So if you have an Apple product, any devices that are connected to your Apple ID. And it can possibly track device activity for other devices connected to your Wi-Fi network. So ByteDance is getting a lot of data from you as the user and potentially from your whole family. So this brings in concerns about what they're doing with the data and also concerns about influence. There are about 5 million TikTok users between the ages of 16 and 24, and many under 16 as well. These young people are incredibly reliant and addicted to this platform. It informs their opinions and their beliefs, sometimes their actions. You can see examples of the addiction to the platform in the fact that kids and teens are threatening suicide if TikTok goes away. And young people are easily persuaded. So imagine a platform that is in the hands and the control of any other government than our own, being able to make a little change, and suddenly millions of US children believe in this conspiracy theory or this misinformation. The influence here is incredibly powerful and can be used with bad intentions. TikTok even tried to recruit its users to pressure Congress to vote against this bill. TikTok was serving users with a pop-up, you may have seen it, asking users to call their representatives and support TikTok and not the bill. But this backfired. Lawmakers say that they received very few calls from TikTok users. But TikTok here was actually serving young people with misinformation about what the bill actually is. They mentioned that it's a ban, but left out the part that TikTok can still exist if an American company buys it. I want to remind people too that the Chinese government puts strict restrictions on their TikTok product in their own country. In China, kids under 14 are limited to 40 minutes a day on TikTok and only between the hours of 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. to ensure they get adequate sleep. Kids are only shown content that is either inspirational or educational, nothing harmful. How infuriating is that? ByteDance knows that TikTok is harmful for children, so they'll restrict the app in China, but let American children scroll for 10 hours a day and watch suicide videos. They have no concern for our children. And if you aren't aware, there are shocking reports recently of the amount of suicide content being shown to American kids and teenagers. There was one study recently where they set up multiple TikTok accounts as 13-year-olds. Within 14 minutes of scrolling, they were served with tons of posts promoting and glorifying suicide. Another study showed that the hashtags which held suicide content, which was readily available for children in TikTok, amassed over 1.4 million posts and 8.8 billion views. They found TikTok's For You page automatically serving up highly viral and dangerous suicide content, multiple videos offering advice regarding at-home suicide, with videos suggesting 5 ways to end it without feeling any pain. Other videos gave advice for at-home concoctions and even footage of self-harm, including a potentially lethal dose of salt and water in order to induce organ failure. Parents all over the country are reporting that their children have actually taken their own lives, and upon looking at their child's TikTok feed after they passed, the parents found video after video about suicide being served by TikTok in the For You feed. And kids as young as 10 are reporting seeing live suicides and live murders on TikTok. Does that sound like a place our kids should be spending their time? Okay, so what happens next? ByteDance has already begun preparing a lawsuit against our US government. They're calling this law an assault on free speech and are going to challenge the law legally in the coming days or weeks. And I can't really talk about this issue without mentioning former President Donald Trump. So Trump has been very vocal against this specific TikTok ban, saying things like, quote, Just so everyone knows, especially young people, crooked Joe Biden is responsible for banning TikTok. He's doing it to help his friends over at Facebook become richer and more dominant and able to continue to fight, perhaps illegally, the Republican Party. Trump is urging young people to remember this on Election Day. But let's not forget, when Trump was president back in 2020, he himself sought to ban TikTok over the exact same national security concerns. But his bill was blocked by the courts. So what's with the flip-flop? His pushback against this current law is obvious election propaganda, a bid for young voters. Let's make sure we get clear about that. Suffice it to say, I am in favor of this law, and I hope that TikTok gets banned in the US. The app is not beneficial for our children. In fact, it is addictive and it is extremely harmful. To parents, if your child is upset about this new law, remind them that 1. TikTok is highly profitable. An American company or group of investors will likely buy it, and odds are TikTok isn't going anywhere. But better yet, what if TikTok went away? Imagine the positive impact that would have on a generation of children. Imagine the lives that would be saved. Thank you for following along with this really important topic. As parents, the more we know about social media and big tech, the more we can inform and protect our children. I'll be back with more here on Scrolling to Death.